everybody. How are you doing? Sorry about that. I just had to go through my doorway to hell. Whoa! Well, actually, it leads to my laundry room, but the back of my dryer does in fact lead to hell. So technically speaking, that is a doorway to hell. Whoa! Oh. Sorry, Barry, don't want to knock down your desk. Oh, hello there. So, yes, we have a new Halloween cameo appearance today. Today's Barry's special guest is, Sexy Rule 63 Jason Voorhees, which are figurines that totally exist, and of course I own one, because why wouldn't I? So, yeah, she doesn't really say much, but she's here. Okay, well, anyway, welcome back to episode 2 of Horoween. And from the last episode, I took some suggestions from the comments. I was looking through them to have, like, a basic idea for what the next video is going to be. Something sort of like morbid Halloween-esque topic, because I didn't really come up with any solid ideas for like the entire series, so we're just flying along on a wing and a prayer here. But thanks to everybody for your suggestions. I decided to go with this one right here. This was a comment I received and got a decent amount of upvotes, and the suggestion was you should do a video talking about, like, the way the citizens of the One Piece world respond to things like pirate attacks, you know, from their, like, POV, okay? So, not going to talk exactly about that, but that gave me the idea for this. And this is honestly a long overdue video. We're going to talk about how truly terrifying it would be to be a regular citizen living in the One Piece world. I think that such a terrifying topic fits perfectly into Horoween, so let's go ahead with it today. Cue the Billy and Mandy title theme! Yeah, today we're going to be talking about what it's like to be a citizen of the One Piece world. And we've sort of already discussed this in my isekai series, where I went through the different ideas of, like, being isekai'd into the One Piece world and, like, all the different reference tables to roll on and everything like that. I still want to do another isekai, by the way. I just haven't had, like, a good idea for one, but I do want to continue that series. Alright, so let's start with this. I do not know how the citizens of the One Piece world manage to sleep at night. I really don't. Because in this world of pirates and marines and devil fruits and hockey and warlords and Yonko, there are literally probably millions of things that could not only kill you, but your family, as well as the entire island you are on at any given moment. Giant sea leviathans exist in this universe, and somehow people are just kind of like chill with it. I mean, they're terrifying. If you're just a random fisherman down by the docks and then a sea king just comes out of the water and devours the entire dock, you know, well, you're gonna be dead at that point. But it's like, oh man, Bill got eaten by a sea king. That's crazy. Well, shut down the docks for the day, Bert. Guess we gotta move over to dock number 6. You know, hopefully that one doesn't get devoured. It's just like, how do people not, like always freak out with this? Like, this is terrifying, alright? So here's a list. Here's a list of the things. If you're just a regular dude or dudette in the One Piece world, right? Let's just say you're running a bakery. I don't know why I would come up with that explanation. You know what? Let's do something different for a change. Instead of running a bakery, let's say you're a pastry chef. Okay, so you're not running a bakery. That's been played out. You're a pastry chef in the One Piece world that is employed by a baker, but whatever. Anyway, okay, so all the things that you would be terrified of that could kill you at any given moment, okay? So first off, pirates. I mean, that's pretty standard. I mean, the main characters of One Piece are pirates. The Straw Hats are pretty chill, of course, but there's other pirates like Eustace Kid and like Bellamy's crew and whatever. Like, if they come to town, they could literally just ransack the whole thing, burn it down, slaughter people. So that could happen to you at pretty much any given time. And it's in the middle of the Great Pirate Era. Remember that, okay? Literally an era, because there are pirates around like every corner, all right? And some of them are really strong and terrifying, and some of them are just very boastful, that are just like, you know, oh, we're the Bluebeard pirates. Yes, we shall become the kings of the world. Yeah, they're not very terrifying. They might not have any devil fruit abilities. They might not have any hockey. They're just a bunch of idiots, but they're dangerous dangerous idiots, okay? They're dangerous, muscular idiots with swords and guns that just storm into towns and just do whatever they want. And that could happen to you at any given time, regardless of which of the oceans you're in. It's more likely to happen if you were living in the Grand Line, or especially in the New World. But if you just live in any of the four blues, on just any sort of peaceful little, like, farming village on an island somewhere tucked in the corner of the East or something, this could still happen to you at any given time. Not just pirates, but also bandits, which are like land pirates. So not as intimidating, but still kind of intimidating. You know, Dadan was a little intimidating, much more intimidating than Higama was. But at any rate, yeah, so bandits, pirates, any sort of criminal could, like, basically, like, ransack your town at any given point or take it over. You know, even Bartolomeo. Bartolomeo, before he set out to sea and became a pirate, was just leading a small town gang in Logtown. He took over, like, 200-something towns in the east. There was also Duval that ran a gang as well. You know, sort of like more of like a biker gang-esque sort of situation rather than, like, bandits or pirates, but still very dangerous. And, like, there are the Marines and stuff, but the Marines are kind of stretched thin a lot of times. There's also the Coast Guard. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know about that, but there is a Coast Guard in the One Piece world, and they usually, you know, specialize in, like, mountain bandits and stuff. So, like, with Dadan, her bounty, her wanted poster did not say Marine, it said Coast Guard on it, so it's like a subdivision of that, right? So, yeah, you're living in the Great Pirate Era. There's really strong pirates out there, but even, like, the stupid, weak pirates could still, like, burn a town down. You know, it doesn't take smarts to just, you know, whip up like, you know, a Molotov cocktail and throw it through a bar or something, and pirates are wont to do that. So that's terrifying. But even more so than just regular pirates, also remember devil fruits exist. Now, this is a little bit debatable because at the beginning of the story, devil fruits were talked about by Morgan as sort of like mythical, like, you know, like fairy tales, you know, like, oh, the stories of the deviled fruits, fruits that curse the individual with strange abilities at the cost of them not being able to swim. It's a little weird that Captain Morgan, you know, said that, considering he is a Marine captain and there are other Marine captains that have devil fruit abilities. So it's a little weird that he did not know that devil fruits existed. You feel like that should be like the number one thing, you know, like when you're being taught, you know, basic stuff to be a Marine officer, like, by the way, devil fruits are real. Literally the 3 strongest members of the Marines have them. So yeah, it's a little strange. But then again, keep in mind, it was at the beginning of the story, so maybe Oda wanted to add a little bit of flair to it. So I would say it's a little bit weird for Morgan, but like regular citizens in most of the blues, not hearing about devil fruits or not believing that devil fruits exist, I guess that's understandable. However, I will say this, there is basically the equivalent of television in the One Piece world, like television and radio in the form of the Denden Mushi, and after Marineford, there was literally like a broadcast at Sabaody where all the journalists of the world were present, writing down notes and, like, you know, witnessing Whitebeard using his Gura Gura no Mi to, like, summon giant tsunamis to wreck Marineford. So you'd feel like after an event like that, the entire world should know and be aware devil fruits exist. There are magical fruits that when you eat them, some of them are stupid that just allow you to turn into jackets and different kind of clothing wear, but others literally have the ability to summon earthquakes and lightning and control fire and all these horrible things, okay? So I think that's pretty terrifying, just to know that, like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed tonight, and it's like somebody somewhere could eat a fruit that would allow him to just electrically nuke our island into the Stone Age at any given time. That is pretty terrifying. Even if it's just like the town jackass, you know? Not the donkey, but like, let's just say there's a guy named, I don't know, Dirk the jackass, okay? And he's just the bully. He's just the bully in town. He's always drunk. He's always stumbling around. He's just like, hey, stupid, what's down there on your shoes? Your shoelace is untied, huh? Boom! He, like, punches you in the face. Everybody hates Dirk, okay? Everybody hates him. And it's just like, man, Dirk's a dick. And it's like, just to think that Dirk could be out stumbling in the woods one night. He's, like, all drunk. He's like, look, look, look. And then he just sees, like, oh, that's a weird fruit. And it turns out, like, let's say it's like the Mara no Mi or something. It's like some ridiculously powerful Logia. And he's like, oh, that's cool! And then he just goes back to town and just burns the whole town down. That's pretty terrifying to think. Or maybe some bratty kid from the town, you know, like Dennis the Menace kind of type finds the Goro Goro no Mi, like Enaru's fruit. Just like, and just starts like firing lightning bolts or something. Or it turns into like that episode of The Twilight Zone, It's the Good Life, where that little kid had like telekinetic powers to like warp reality. And it's just like, this is a happy town. Everybody loves this town, and everybody always respects Little Billy, because Little Billy has the power of the Gura Gura no Mi, and he could summon a tsunami to destroy the town at any given time. Now, I'm using very strong logias as an example here, and paramecias, as in the case with Whitebeard's fruit. But, you know, those fruits are, you know, hard to come by. I'm just saying, though, if you live in the Grand Line, in the New World, you know, devil fruits, I mean, there's a lot of them. They're out there. It could happen. Just the fear of that. Just the idea that, like, there are these magical fruits out there that give you, like, these insane powers. And if, like, somebody, like, messed up, got those powers, they could just destroy your entire island. That's pretty terrifying. Let's see here. You got the Marines, which you think the Marines would be helpful, and to a lot of the citizens they are, but also the Marines could be extraordinarily corrupted, or in some case could be pirates in disguise. Look at Virgo. You might just get some asshole Marine captain to watch over your island, and it just, like, he just treats the people like crap, you know, that could happen too. And in that case, there's really nothing you could do about it. Like, look at Captain Morgan in that case. Like, the people of Shelltown really couldn't do anything about it, because Morgan had an axe for a hand, and he was the Marine, he was the commanding officer, so there's nothing they could do. They were pretty much just stuck in that shitty situation, so that's the case there. Oh, the weather! So let's just get away from the fact of other people screwing you over. Let's just look at the weather in One Piece. Yeah, if you live in one of the 4 blues, you should be okay. The weather is pretty much more or less the way it is in our world. The further north you get, the colder it is. The further more near the equator, it's like warmer, more tropical. But once you get into the Grand Line, if you're born in the Grand Line, have fun. Yeah, just have fun. Actually, here's the reference table for the isekai. Just roll on it really quick to determine where you're going to end up in the One Piece world. There it is. Because if you end up in the Grand Line Paradise or the New World, it's just like, okay, you're born on an island, and you might be very well just stuck on that island, because the weather, you know, going from one island to the next is horrible. It could be like, you know, oh, look, candy rain, or it could be giant cyclones, or waves that have spikes on them. I think that's more Toriko, but still, waves that have spikes on them. That could totally happen in the One Piece world. Lightning rain in the New World, like all this crazy stuff that could happen. Imagine that. Imagine you're on an island that you could just never leave. It's just like, okay, you're born on this island, you can't leave. You can't go anywhere unless you had, like, connections to the Marines, or if you do become really powerful, or if you learn hockey, or if you get a devil fruit, or you join a pirate crew or something. You are stuck on this island because, like, the weather is so insane all around it. That's why the sea train was such a big deal when Tom built it at Water 7, because it allowed people to actually go to different islands without fear of, like, being capsized or destroyed or eaten by a giant sea king. Oh, by the way, we should go back to the Sea Kings here. Not just, you know, sea monsters, but also land monsters. There's a bunch of different monsters that live on land and stuff. There was all these, like, giant scorpions and lizards like we saw at Alabasta. Sky monsters are a thing. Remember that giant bird that ate Luffy in, like, the 5th episode? You know, you could just be walking around, you know, tending to your sheep outside in the farm. He's like, boy, Pa, I hope today's harvest works out okay. Yep, I think the harvest will do really good. Oh, no! Little Dave got eaten by a giant bird. He's like, damn it, that's the 6th kid this week. All right, well, what are you gonna do? You know, life giveth, life taketh away. Sometimes giant birds just come down from the sky and take your young. What are you gonna do, right? Back to farming. So, you know, that could happen at any given time. I mean, there's giant birds in the One Piece world. There are stories. In fact, I was just reading about this the other day. There are stories about, like, vultures or like large birds of prey, like, you know, hawks or whatever, that'll come down and just, they can grab cats and stuff. So, you know, like, you let your little kitten outside to play and then, like, ah! And then just take them like that. That's happened before. Like, little tiny dogs, like chihuahuas, like that can happen, okay? So, you know, if the giant birds exist in the One Piece world, yeah, he's like, oh, okay, kids, go out inside and just play in the field. Just, if you see any giant shadows looming above, you know, try to find some cover. It's like, that would be terrifying. It'd be terrifying to be a parent in the One Piece world, you know? Oh, my God. But you know what? That doesn't even scratch the surface. No, not really. What do we all write down here? Pirates, bandits, corrupted Marines, devil fruit abilities, crazy weather patterns, sea monsters, land monsters, sky monsters. Oh no, there's something worse. The idea that not only do you have to face all these horrible acts of nature and other human beings, but at the end of the day, you are, if you're a citizen in the One Piece world, most likely going to be in a kingdom or some kind of government that is under the direct thumb and control of the world government, which, have you ever read 1984? It's not quite that overt in the One Piece world. Well, some kingdoms it is, actually. Some kingdoms are much more like, North Korea-esque, pure dictatorship sort of situation, very corrupt rulers. Look at, the Black Drum Kingdom. Look at the Elusia Kingdom that the Vampire King, King Seki, ruled over, that the Revolutionary Army liberated from Peachbeard. Look at those sort of kingdoms. There are some nice kingdoms, too, like Alabasta, of course, or Dressrosa, now that it's ruled by King Riku again. Also, there's islands that aren't necessarily a kingdom at all, like Water 7 just had a mayor, Iceberg, and it seemed the citizens of Water 7 were doing okay, but it's a crapshoot. It really is. You might just end up being born in a kingdom by this very cruel, oppressive king that works for the world government, and the government really doesn't give a shit. They really don't care. As long as the kingdom pays the Tenryubito the heavenly tribute, the government itself does not really care about the way the kingdom treats its citizens, okay? And that ruler, that king or queen, might use their ability to take, very disproportionate amount of taxes from the people, or resources, or food, or whatever, to use as, the heavenly tribute, okay? So it might be like the king lives in opulence while the citizens all starve at the bottom of the hill, scrounging together some, meager farmlands, whatever, for them to survive on, like, millet or whatever. This is also the situation in Wano right now with Orochi, okay? And so, that's the true terror in the world, a very corrupt government, regardless of, like, okay, you can either deal with giant sea monsters or the world government. If you had to choose, I'm like, well, the giant sea monsters, I mean, like, they'll just kill you. You might just be out swimming in the ocean or hanging out on the beach, and they just might, and that's it, you're dead. But, at least they're not like the Tenryubito, at least they don't just walk through town and just, force people to get down on their knees and bow before them and just like, give me all your gold and money and all that kind of crap. The Sea Kings aren't going to do that, right? So I'd probably go with the Sea Kings, honestly, there, yeah. And, the darkest thing there is that a lot of the citizens, I mean, if you live in a kingdom that's kind of messed up, you probably also you're kind of on to the idea that the world government is equally corrupt. Like the citizens of the Elusia kingdom, like Moda, that girl that like helped Ace out in that one cover story. I'm sure Moda had a pretty good idea, like, our kingdom is extraordinarily cruel and oppressive, so I'm assuming the world government is also equally cruel and oppressive. So she was probably onto it. But if you're living in a kingdom that's pretty decent, like a king or a queen that actually treats their citizens fairly, you might be a little bit blind to the truth there of how corrupt the world government really is, right? And in that situation, though, you also have to think of like the way the Gorosei were speaking about this at Reverie, where the Gorosei were bringing up the possibility of doing like a cleansing or like a purge, okay, which implying they've done this before, right? And so at any given time, at just the wave of a hand, Im-sama with just a wave of his hand could cast away like entire nations. Like Im could just be hanging out on his throne and just like, how many kingdoms are currently part of the world government? And then like the Gorosei could be like, currently 177, Lord Im. I'm feeling a little cute today. Let's knock it down to 100 even. Yes, your will shall be carried out. And then that's literally all she wrote at that point. I mean, the government could come up, the Gorosei could come up with some way to like, oh no, a natural disaster happened, or oh no, Sea Kings ravaged this island for whatever reason. But it was really like a purge or a cleansing, okay? Like, yeah, so that's the most terrifying thing in my opinion, because the citizens, like some of the citizens might know about how corrupt it is, but a lot of other citizens are just going around like just thinking the world government is just like, yeah, the world government, they keep the world safe from pirates, and they have the Marines working for them. It's only fair that we give the Tenryubito every single thing that we can because they're the ones that started it. Yeah! So, yeah, insert political commentary here, but before we get to that, that's the real horror story. I'm just gonna end the video right here. I think that's a good place to end it. But anyway, yeah, thanks for the suggestions, and, yeah, that's, now, if there's anybody out there that was like, man, I really want to live in the One Piece world. That'd be so cool. Yeah, it would be really cool if you like were palling around with the Straw Hats. Like if you had like a self-insert fan fiction or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, we're like best friends with the Straw Hats, and I ate like a mercury devil fruit so I can turn into liquid metal. Yeah, and I know hockey. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be cool, right? But if you're just an average like Joe or Jane Smith, just living on some random island in the West Blue, like you would probably not get any sleep at night. You would just probably just be like, any minute now, any minute now, you know, any number of things like pirates, corrupt marines, the weather, monsters, the government, like anything could just kill us, you know, right? I guess the one shining beacon there is the Revolutionary Army headed up by Dragon, because they're the ones that are actually fighting for the people and trying to like legitimately change on a fundamental level the way that the government is set up, right? So I guess that's a positive, but the revolutionaries can't be everywhere at once, you know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this second installment of Horoween. It's a little bit different kind of fear, but fear nonetheless. Whoa! Oh, cyan? Cyan? That's not a Halloween color. Hold on. Green? Okay, I can work with green. Whoa!